Hi, my name is Martin Smith, and I was challenged to do a video on evil from the perspective of thermodynamics. And I thought, oh, that would be an easy one to do. I just associate thermodynamics as being something evil anyway. So you look at it from the point of view of what is evil. I can't really explain it through thermodynamics. I can't explain it evil through the perspective of the victim or from the innocent. But I can give some parallels to thermodynamics through the perspective of the victimizer, the person that does evil unto others. I was a victim growing up, and victims have a couple ways in which they can go. They can become victimizers, and that's the way a lot of people do when they've been victims. And so this video is from the point of view of a victimizer, and I do that quite a bit, so I figure I'm fairly expert on this. You got two types of victimizers: those that are sociopathic about it, and they know how to get what they want, and they use evil as a tool, and that's all evil is to them, as a tool. Some of them enjoy it, some of them don't. From there, you have the people that justify evil by, oh, but I'm doing good in the world, and that would be me. I grew up with parents that like to destroy people, and they grew up with parents that also were very destructive. So from my point of view, I justified making my parents paranoid by them doing less evil. So in this point, or from my point of view, I would always, work any conversation they brought up about, them getting a thrill out of destroying somebody's life. I would always weave in some way in which they're going to get caught doing that, and everybody around them is going to see them as evil, despicable people. So this is where I'm coming from, and I've taken in since my mom pretty much made it impossible for me to have children, I took in college students, because I live near a college, and I was evil to them, as in I lit fires under them. They needed to get things done, but it was that I enjoyed, making their lives miserable so that they would stop procrastinating and get their schoolwork done and keep jobs, even though it was for good reasons. It still makes me an evil person. So I decided to talk about evil from the point of view of evil people, and I figured this was a good place to come to. This was this particular rock is harder than granite, and it is surrounded with quartz. And a lot of people that do both white witchcraft, black witchcraft. My dad used these for altars to cut out the hearts of animals and burn them on his altar. So I figured this was a good place. The rock, as the earth moves up or back and forth or up or down or moves at all, it puts high pressure on quartz crystals, and those create high energy, high electrical energy. And these trees, usually mountain oak trees, sometimes it's a regular oak tree, when they're gone, you don't notice the feeling that it gives, and it draws a lot of, even draws a lot of Christian and other type of religions to these particular areas. What I've found that the energy does is it knocks down the subconscious. It buffers the fear in the mind. It interferes with electrical impulses in the mind, and only certain types of electrical impulses. And so I'm guessing that these trees work as capacitance. for whatever electrical fields that these things are producing. And I'm assuming that people in witchcraft and more spiritual people like to use these areas for their own means and gains. It allows you to think in different terms and in different ways. Getting back to thermodynamics, thermodynamics is mathematics, and it does not necessarily explain higher differential equations, as in mathematics we're dealing with x, y, and z axis. We're dealing with t for time. Right now some idiots are going through the idea that one of these 4 dimensions has something to do with force, and time only has to do with force if you're late for a deadline. So we got 4 dimensions there. We have the fifth dimension that like avalanches on the side of a mountain, and what that is, it's cascade events. At what particular times do things create triggers? So eventually we have triggers within large groups of cells, or we have chemical reactions, triggers within chemical reactions, and then we get into living organisms. And over time, lots and lots of these chemical reactions and triggers produce a living organism that can actually split off and create more life. And from there, what's good is what has to do with survival. Later on, what's good has to do with good of the individual or good of the group. And this is where thermodynamics basically doesn't do anything. So thermodynamics, the basis of it is you put so much energy into something, and you can use exact mathematics to determine how much energy from heat expansion, you can change that to work, as in to push up against something to either drive a spinning wheel and have that compression and decompression from it to turn into mechanical work. And that is the basis of thermodynamics. And from that basis, you think, well, you should be able to explain evil with thermodynamics. You put so much work into good, or you put so much work into doing bad. You know, you want somebody to fall down and bust their butt because they, quote, deserve it, or because it would make you feel better. And this would be doing evil. So in thermodynamics, we would be talking about how much work you're putting into evil towards somebody, and how much actual damage that's being done compared to the work you're putting into it. And that is about the only way I can describe evil through the terms of thermodynamics. The reason why I was so sure that I could do a video on this is because it felt right. I felt like it should be doable. And if anyone else can come up with some better ideas to describe evil in terms of thermodynamics, there's a comment section down below, or make up a video and link it, because I would very much like to see your ideas on it. As for thermodynamics being evil, that one I can say without doubt. If I look through my physics, my first general physics book that I ever took, thermodynamics was the first topic in which we were given, in my case, it was the automobile. We were given the automobile, and we had to calculate the efficiency of the automobile. You put so many calories of heat in, and that calories can be defined as work or energy, and then how much energy, force energy, are you getting out of it, and how much is dissipated into heat. And we got about 4% energy, and this is where the evil comes into it, because we were looking at the expansion and the direct turnover from moving an object. Now, there's other ways of doing it in mathematics, and the car companies these days are looking at terms, they're measuring the heat, and they're saying that everything else is turned into work. You can finagle the math that way if you want to, but this is where the evil comes into it. There's a lot of different ways in which this can be presented mathematically with exact terms, and that's what mathematics is about doing things in exact terms. And we as students are required to accept that there is an exact term for thermodynamics, when in actuality it is a very vague outcome. And from that point of view, I'm going to say this is where the evil comes down from towards thermodynamics, is that we are required as students to accept something that is vague as somebody else's terms of proof, 100% exact proof. So yes, there is evil within thermodynamics, but to describe evil through thermodynamics, I have not really found a way to do so. And that's as far as I've gotten on this. I have tried doing this video 2 other times. I've wrote it all up, taped the whole thing, and re-looked at it and said this was garbage. So this might be the 3rd tape that gets erased, and I might just put it up there. So yeah, there's a comment section below. Let me know your ideas and let other people know your ideas. And I'll see you in another video.